got you. Okay, it's live. Today on Straight Talk with Chili, I have my son here, my second born. I feel so excited to be with you today. I'm hanging out in my favorite spot in the park, and it's not raining today, and Hurricane Dorian is gone. I'm so excited.
Lucky.
But today we're going to talk about something near and dear to our hearts, and this is Matthew, my second born, and he's hanging out with us for this weekend. But we're going to focus on being the exception. We have experienced being exception in so many ways, and I just want to ask Matthew, what is that like for you, being the exception?
Well, first and foremost, hi everybody. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. But I'm Matthew, and I'm from Buffalo, New York, originally New Jersey. But we were talking about this earlier. We were talking about being the exception. And we talked about it a little bit on a live a little bit ago. It's a decision that you make every day, to be that 1%, or be that person that stands out, or creates your own path, or you're that entrepreneur, or that you're that person that creates that first person to go to college or finish college for your family, that first person to make it professional in a certain field, that first person to make a company, or that first person to accomplish anything at all.
And like you said, the first person to make a company, the name that come to mind is Bill Gates. He was willing to get outside of his comfort zone and be the one that, even though people didn't believe in his ideas, believe in who he was and what he was trying to bring to the table, and explain to them his thought process around Microsoft, until he make it big, they didn't get it.
Exactly.
So sometimes you're doing things and you feel weird. Being the exception, you're gonna feel weird sometimes. You're gonna be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll piggyback on that a little bit. We were talking earlier about creating your own lane, and specifically guys like Bill Gates. I work in music, so specifically EDM and hip-hop music. I work with different producers, DJs, and different stuff like that. And something that always is kind of funny is the first time you create a sound, everyone kind of looks at it like, I'm not really feeling this. Nobody really likes it at all.
It's weird.
It's completely weird. But if you create a fan base from that, you become a legend. You know, think about all the people that you remember. Some of you might listen to hip hop, you might listen to Drake. Drake has a specific sound, whether it's singing and rapping in his songs. You think of people like Celine Dion, she has a specific tone. You think of people like James Brown or Prince. There's a specific sound that they have that's totally different. They've created their own lane from everybody else.
Even Jimi Hendrix, when I think back, he was the only one that could play the guitar behind his back and do all this crazy stuff with it. And people thought he was weird, but he was unique. And the purpose of our talk today is to own your exception. It doesn't mean you're better than, it just means you're different. And it's okay to be different, because when you're different and you know what lane you're in, you stay in your lane. You have your DNA. None of our DNA are the same. We're all unique. So we've got to understand that we've got to make a decision that comes what may, no matter what, I'm going to be different. I'm going to own who I am. And if who I am is weird to you, that's okay. We have to just decide on that's okay. You know, it's cool to be different, but you got to own that, so that somebody don't make you feel uncomfortable about who you are. We're unique, and you have to embrace your uniqueness. You have an example of situation where you've had to own your uniqueness.
Even how this topic came about. We were talking about sports and what I used to do in sports and whatever. A lot of us, we have dreams, first of all, and those dreams sometimes don't align with everybody else that is in our life. You know, you might be the very first person to do something, you know, and it's a decision you make every day to aim towards that dream, to create that lane, create that path. For me specifically, as a kid, I always used to write on everything and think about it every day. I'm going to be a professional athlete, specifically football. And every single day I made that decision to create that path, you know. And now, obviously, football hasn't worked out. I'm like 5'2", and like chubby, whatever the case may be. But like things haven't worked out perfectly. But at the same time, I dedicated myself to that every day, and that path has turned into something else that has progressed me and created a new path for me. And I feel like in this new path of music, I am the exception, or I can be the exception. And you could you could create by yourself,
Right.
and don't feel scared or nervous about being the first person to step out and step above and just create your own thing. Because what if you are that exception?
Exactly.
You know, what
And
if
we
you
have to own who we are. You have to know that we're all gifted. And your gift is not necessarily mine, or even if we have the same gift, there's something unique about each of us.
Yeah.
We don't have to necessarily be the same and be just like each other. Like I mentioned earlier, our DNAs are different. So exception, you've got to make a decision to be the exception. Know that people may consider you weird, but you're unique. Own who you are. Know that you are that person at your core. It's in your belly, like Matthew was saying. Even though football didn't work out, he took from that and propel onto that and develop those skills. Okay, you took the lessons. What did I learn? Okay, football didn't work out. What are some skills that I learned from this experience that I can take into the music world? And it helps you to be disciplined.
It helps you to be disciplined, and it also helps you to just create your own lane, you know? And a lot of us have this thing, and this is something that I personally struggle with. It's hard for me to do everything everyone else is doing.
And
You know,
you're not supposed to.
yeah, understandably so.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to, whether it's be a follower or whatever the case may be. Some of that, you know, that's our role.
Right.
But for other things, you know, specifically when it comes to music, I always want to be different. For football, I always wanted to be that person from the small town that made it, you know, that was undersized and all sorts of different stuff. Those challenges, you know, empower me. Those challenges push me, and those challenges should also push you as well.
Right.
To create that lane for yourself to move forward. And as a business owner, I'm sure people that are watching this are also business owners, and you can relate. The hardest thing about doing a business or running a business is stepping out and starting it. Because it's kind of scary, you know. And eventually, in time, you start to build a fan base. You start to have people grow on you. You know what I mean? Or you grow on people, I should say. And you create your own lane. You become that exception to the rule. And we could all be that way. We could all shine in our own way. So stay positive, be encouraged with that, you know.
I am your coach, shining light to your path to pull on the treasure that's on the inside of you. There's exception in you. You've got to find it, own it, and be it. Become that exception. Thank you for tuning in. If this has been good for you, please like and share, and help others to become the exception in their role, in their lane, who they are. Thank you for tuning in.
And don't forget to smile, man. Smile. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Hug somebody.
Thank you for being here. I
know,
appreciate it.
Honestly. Like to rock with my mom. Deuces. Love you guys.